Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com. Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company.
Well, I think it's more important that you just want to work with great coaches. Whether it's a head coach, quarterback coach, assistant quarterback coach, quality control. You just want to be around great football minds. And I've always been fortunate in my 10 years in the league. I've been around some really great football minds, and I think our current staff is a continuation of that for me. And I do think I continue to be fortunate to have great coaches around me and around our team to help us.
I always appreciate Kirk shouting out the quality control coaches as well. Leave no coach feeling like he doesn't have an impact on your career. Judd, are there any interns you'd like to thank from the Star Tribune from 15 years ago?
I would love to. I have no idea what their names are.
Hello.
So don't ask
Hello.
me.
Can you copy this?
I'm sure I was very nice. No, you know what? I can do my own copies.
Okay, name two former, by first name only, name two former Mackey and Judd interns.
Oh my God, I can name two. I know I was never even an intern.
Hold on a second here. Hold on a second.
We've had like 7, by the way.
Charlie.
Charlie? Oh yeah, Charlie Weiss. Yeah.
Charlie Weiss.
Yeah.
Still a big Twins fan. He's one of them.
I love Charlie. He's great.
Oh, and then I just saw him yesterday. He watches the Manziel fan who works up in Duluth. I saw him at the Twins game, the opener, and then I saw him at the Wolves game last night.
Come on, you're close.
You're close.
Why can't I pull his name? I pulled it out when I saw him. Now I can't pull his name.
Starts with a D.
He's floated us scoops before too.
Yeah, no, I know. I want to say Dylan.
Incredible.
I want to say Dylan, but it's not Dylan. But by the way, he looks like a Dylan. Like he looks like.
Okay.
I don't know if he does, man. I think he looks like a Duncan.
He looks like a Duncan. Yep. Come on, Judd.
Duncan. Awesome. Duncan, I apologize because he watches constantly. That was a sincere miss.
We're gonna count that. Judd, you got the number of letters correct in there.
It's okay if I. No, you don't have to count it. You don't have to count it. I'm embarrassed right now. I'm very embarrassed for myself. But okay, let's go.
All right, welcome in. By the way, another one of our interns is also Wheeler Morris, who you could say is part of the family that runs our.
I don't think of Wheeler Morris as an intern in that sense.
He was great, man.
He was really good, but he's a little bit more important than an intern.
Yes, he is. Yes. So, all right, this is Purple Daily, presented by Surly Brewing Company and TCL, which has a new lineup of award-winning TVs delivering the most entertainment with stunning resolution, all at an affordable cost. Enjoy more of the things you love with TCL. We want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. And, step one is free agency. Well, new coach, GM, free agency. And then the next step is the draft as they look to build some sort of championship contender. But let's get into it here. Every Wednesday, people ask us all the time, when are you guys going to finally admit that you were wrong about blank? Well, clearly you don't listen, because every Wednesday we put our reputations and careers on the line. It's one of the most innovative and high-risk segments in all of sports. Yes.
Our lives are on the line.
This isn't just a game to us. Let's fire the music here. This is Write That Down.
Most make predictions and then never admit they're wrong. Yeah, that's not Mackey and Judd. This is the place where we just totally own our horrible predictions.
Write this down.
And eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Write that down.
It's Write That Down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
With Mackey and Judd.
Also, later on in the show, Godfather Mock has delivered a 4.0. Mel Kiper has a 4.0, and it's 2 rounds.
Yeah.
2 rounds. He is tuning up the band, baby. Less than a month away from the NFL draft.
He's still making trades. He's still making trades, right?
I don't know. I haven't looked at this one yet.
I think he's making trades now.
I want to be surprised with all of you guys as we go through it here. So, all right, we're gonna fire this up here. Write that down. 3 Vikings or football-related predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. Those are the main rules. We keep track of completion percentage and touchdowns on the Purple Daily edition. It's home runs and batting average on the classic Mackey and Judd edition. And if you want to be a guest listener participant, like our guy Nate is about to be, you can just send us a message through the Score North app. It's free to download. It's a central hub for everything we do. And there's a quick message button at the bottom of the home screen on the Score North app. So, not as many things coming off the board in the offseason as, like a week 10 situation. But a few things came off the board here, starting with Judd. You said Anthony Barr will have signed with a team by this week's Write That Down.
Yeah. I'm curious about this one.
I think people are – he's not that good. He's
Well,
not that good. He's just kind of he's like a third wave scrap heap free agent, right?
It might be a combination of a little bit of that, as well as I think he wants to be paid like he still is pretty damn good. And teams are like, yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work out in his favor.
There's a fighting chance we're going to find out that as much as Zim loved him and what he supposedly brought as far as, calling things out and stuff, we're going to find out that they didn't do him a ton of favors by not using him a bit differently.
Well, now it's almost,
Too
he's what, 28? Was he 29? Is he 30?
He's right around 30, yeah. Yeah, no, it might be too late.
If you could run that back and just see, what would he look like at a 3-4? What would he look like with just a different type of role with a different coordinator or coach? I think he'd run that back 2 or 3 years ago, but that was wrong. All right, I said my guy J.C. Treader would sign with someone by this week's Write That Down. Unless you guys have seen something this morning, Is there even any reports about him? Like, let's just Google News him for a second. J.C. Treader.
J.C. Treader is missing. I didn't want to tell you this, but he is missing.
He's one of the best centers in the NFL. Injury problems, I think, are clearly like he didn't miss games, but I think there must be some major injury things happening that are preventing him. So, yeah, the only thing that shows up is he tweeted something out. He has challenged agents to follow the Deshaun Watson guaranteed contract structure. But that's it.
Well, keep in mind, if I'm not mistaken, he is the head of the Players Association. And as petty as this might sound, that probably doesn't help you.
I think just
player reps and guys who are very powerful within the union sometimes don't get the chance that they probably still deserve because they are seen as being potential locker room problems for management.
Really? Just because they're just pushing for things and
yes, well,
I guess because they're being quoted publicly about wanting guaranteed contracts and stuff. All right.
And J.C. Treader is, I believe, in charge of the whole thing. So he wasn't just like the Browns rep; he was the president. So that might be at least playing a role with his injuries.
Dude, he didn't miss a game with Cleveland in the regular season in 5 years. Huh? He 16 games in 5 straight years with Cleveland. If he's got to ice his knees for 5 days to get ready for a Sunday game, I would sign him. The Vikings have some space, but alas, he did not sign before this week's Write That Down, so that's wrong. Listeners had nothing come off the board. Declan, you said Eric Kendricks will be cut, traded, or have his contract restructured by April 1st. I couldn't remember if we took that one off the board already.
I think we did.
So, I don't know, whatever.
All right, you didn't twice.
You didn't get dinged twice in the spreadsheet, but it's possible that I just didn't highlight it or something. But it's only going to count once. So you have 37% completions, Declan, and 3 touchdowns, which leads the league. I'm at 23.5% completions, 1 touchdown. Judd and the listeners both at 18% completions and 2 touchdowns. Just putting on a great performance. All of us, really.
It's a very, very rough start.
Yeah, not great out of the gate here. But there's plenty of season left. We've got draft season, we got schedule release season, off season, training camp, and then obviously the fall is where most of the predictions come off the board. But let's get him in here. Nate is our guest listener predictor. He's got the pro setup here.
Look at that.
And everything. Nate, what's going on, man? What kind of quarterback are you looking to emulate today in your predictions?
I'm really feeling like I'm going to probably play check down Charlie, but I also might throw a little curveball. We might see a little no look pass like Matt Stafford,
Yeah.
I love it.
Got to mix in some risk. Absolutely. So, all right, here's how this works. We're going to go around the room 3 times. Nate, Judd, Declan, and then back to me, Phil. Predictions must be quantifiable, football or show related. Those are pretty much the only rules here. So, Nate, you're under center or shotgun or whatever, the pistol.
Or underneath the right guard, huh? Yeah.
Underneath the right guard, yeah.
That's right.
It's tough to tell. I mean, there's just 5 fat guys bent over. Like, how are you supposed to see where
it's not Kirk's fault.
Technically speaking, Kirk probably would have noticed by the lack of sweat, apparently.
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah. There wasn't a faucet coming down in your hands when you lined up under the right guard.
So I'm going to probably go with something that I think we all really hope and desire out of this coming season. But I think the Vikings offense DVOA is going to be top 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Top 6 DVOA Football Outsiders.
Yep.
Yeah. Where they? I think they were like 13th in DVOA last year.
Yeah, I think so.
Like
Yep.
Yeah, for this team to be 14th in points and outside the top 10, you got too many weapons. You got a
disrespectful,
good enough quarterback. Figure it out. All right, over to Judd Zulgad.
Write this down.
Dalvin Cook will establish a career high in touchdown receptions in 2022.
Touchdown receptions. Okay.
So here's the interesting thing, and this is remarkable. His career high was set in 2018. It's 2. So he's going to catch more than 2 touchdown passes in 2022.
Interesting. Are you gleaning this from Rams running backs?
I am gleaning this from the fact that I do not think Dalvin Cook was necessarily well used in the passing game all the time, and I think that there's more creative ways. And I think that there will be at least a few opportunities to throw the ball to him that will result in touchdowns. 2, I was shocked.
Yeah. Well,
I would have guessed his career high was like 4 touchdown receptions or something.
Well, this might be bad news for you because Darrell Henderson led the Rams with 3 last year. But then the year before, Cam Akers only had 1, and Darrell Henderson only had 1. Malcolm Brown had none.
Well, you wrote it down.
And then I'm just saying this isn't like a slam dunk. This isn't necessarily a check down here.
No.
Todd Gurley had 2 in 2019 with the Rams. So the Rams offense hasn't been known for running back receiving touchdowns. So this is not a gimme for Judd.
No, but the Rams didn't have a guy by the name of Dalvin Cook who wore the number 4 in their arsenal.
To what degree do you believe what he said yesterday, which is now that I got my new number, and I'm assuming now that he's got a new offensive system and stuff, that you're going to see some things that you've never seen. Like his game's going to go to a new level is what he insinuated yesterday.
I think there's opportunity if he can stay on the field, but there was one game at US Bank Stadium last year where he made a reception over the middle, which was a phenomenal catch. And it was like sort of the type of thing, non-check down that he can do that they didn't do nearly enough. I think he's a much greater weapon even in small doses than what we've seen.
Yeah. All right, we'll find out.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
We'll find out. Dex?
All right, my first predictions. You guys tell me, too, if this is, way too much of a check down. Okay, now I'm going to amend it, and I'll come back. I
think you probably know the answer already.
All right, well, okay.
Sounds like.
Exactly.
Aiden Hutchinson will go number 1 overall in the draft.
I don't think – no, I'm fine with that.
Okay, cool.
There's enough question here.
All right, thank you.
You've checked it down more than that before.
Well.
Yeah, there's enough.
Your 18.4% is going really well there, Judd.
He is the odds-on favorite, right? What are the sports?
Most mocks have him as 1. I haven't seen betting things, but it feels like every mock we've done, Aiden Hutchinson. So I'm assuming he's going to go 1 overall.
I'm just looking up here some sports betting website here. I just want to see how much of a check down this really is. Aiden Hutchinson is the favorite to go number 1 overall. But why don't they have numbers next to this? I don't know. I'll find a sports book that has – we'll see how much of a check down it really is.
It's fine.
Okay.
I wouldn't object to it one bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Write this down.
All right, write this down. 2 quarterbacks will be selected before the 12th overall pick. Or I will say this. Let me amend this because in case the Vikings trade out. Between the 1st and 12th pick, so within the first 12 picks, at least 2 quarterbacks will be drafted. Write it down. I don't buy all these early mock drafts that had no quarterbacks. Like Kiper had no quarterbacks, and we'll get to his 4.0 and see if he's changed his tune. My guess is, and you guys have to, this is kind of an honor system, but if I can get away with it, I have not looked at the Kiper mock, but Malik Willis will have emerged into the top 10 in the Kiper 4.0. But because it's already out on the internet, honor system, I don't think we can go on the record with that. I don't want to set the precedent.
So you're not trying to write that down.
Listen, I haven't seen it, but I don't want to set the precedent that I'm just guessing on something I haven't seen.
I would agree. And I mean, I wouldn't totally trust you, so I'm glad
That's
you didn't
fair.
do that.
That's totally fair.
I mean, you're my
Down.
partner, but I still this
Arm's
game
length,
gets
though.
to be nasty.
That's true. All right, Nate. Nate, first of all, how did you become a Vikings fan before you get to your second prediction?
Yeah, so it was my uncle. So my dad passed away when I was pretty young, and then my uncle was just a huge fan. And my very first football game I ever went to was a Minnesota Vikings game. I think in '96. I think.
Wow.
But yeah, so yeah, it was just I mean, we're from Illinois. I live in Michigan now, and yeah, so it's just kind of a weird. I don't know why he's a fan. I never asked him, but born and raised. I have a Warren Moon jersey from when he was a quarterback for us, and yeah.
Warren Moon, I went to, it was like 95 or 96. One of the 3 years the Moon was here. The first Vikings game I attended in person was Warren Moon versus the Jets inside the Metrodome. So
Nice.
kind of the same era of Vikings football.
Yeah.
Love me some Warren Moon in a purple uniform. All right, what's your second prediction here?
I'm going to stick with some trade action. I think Cam will trade back in the first round of the 22 draft for a future first round draft pick and a 22 fourth or later draft pick.
Okay. You want to repeat that one more time just so we have it?
Yep. So Cam will trade back in the first round of the 22 draft for a future first round draft pick and a 22 draft pick, fourth round or later.
Okay. So when you say future first round pick, could it be the 20th pick in this year's draft, or it could be the 2000s, right? Because it's still a future pick. It's just
I'm playing. Write that down.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So they're going to pick up an additional first round pick at some point. All right.
Yes.
That's fair. Got that,
Breaks
Dex?
us down.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Back to Judd.
It's time for a prediction 2022 AFC fastball, boys.
Oh my gosh.
Fastball, because Sports Dad is going to predict the champion of the AFC West, which is going to be probably the best division of football. It will be, write this down, the Denver Broncos will win the AFC West with Russell Wilson. They will beat out the Chiefs. They will beat out the Chargers and obviously the Raiders. So the Denver Broncos will win the AFC West next season.
Okay.
All right. I like that. I think Kansas City losing Tyreek Hill is so interesting because he's so much like when you think of the explosive offense and when they're clicking, it's like it's him. It's Kim and Kelsey. So how can they weave some of these other guys in and change their system? And then how long will it take Denver with a tough schedule to get up to speed? But Denver's defense is already ready to go. They got some weapons.
And Wilson adds intangibles that they didn't come close to having before. The other thing is, I think Kansas City, they're still good. They're still going to be good, but I think they're on that sort of decline now, right? Like back-to-back Super Bowls, they won one, then they lost one, then they didn't get back, and like the gradual steps back down the rung. Not to say they won't pop up again at some point, but the gradual steps are sort of playing themselves out, I think.
You're saying they might be looking to book tee times in early January. That's what it sounds like to me, Dex. I mean, I don't know about you, but I think Meadows at Mystic sounds like a pretty good place for the Chiefs to go golfing.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the nicest public golf courses in the whole state of Minnesota. And I'm excited to get out there here soon enough because the weather's warming up a little bit. We were able to get out last weekend, but they're getting close to opening up. And at the same time, it's a great place to go watch golf and enjoy the patio. And the golf shop down there is one of the best in the entire state. It's not just your rinky-dinky, hey, there's a glove, there's a hat, and there's maybe like a sleeve of balls. No, this is an exquisite golf shop down at the Meadows at Mystic Lake. And yes, you can also enjoy a beverage out on that patio. And once that course opens, I can't wait to get out and play. There's awesome landmarks on that course, so check them out. It's the Meadows Bar and Grill and the Meadows at Mystic Lake. Go check them out.
Before we get to the rest of our predictions here, too, let's tell you guys again, for one night only, Thursday, April 28th, it's the Purple Daily Surly Draft Party at Surly Brewing Company. And Surly will be brewing a special Before I Die Minnesota football ale. They're making a beer for us, for you guys, for Vikings fans, for the Purple Daily community. One night only, tap room only, Judd. It's going to be a blast.
It's going to be fantastic. And so doors at 3 on that day, April 28th. We start at 6. We go until the draft is done. We take your questions. We entertain you. And you know what? Because it's our show, you entertain us too by coming on the show, by giving your thoughts. It's a live vent line. It's sort of like a Beatles concert. It's a live vent line.
That puts a lot of pressure
Perfect.
on
Where you can, where you
It's
can
gonna be
participate
just like
and
a
watch
Beatles
us live.
concert,
It's gonna
guys.
be like a Beatles.
Don't
concert.
be
It's gonna
disappointed by
fantastic.
us.
Oh, exactly right. And the best part, there is
Yesterday.
no. Thanks, Paul McCartney. No cover charge, and like Phil said, Before I Die beer, which I got a feeling, gentlemen, if it sells like I think it might, I think Before I Die beer might be expanded a bit. I think it might, because it's what we all want, right? Like we saw it last night, Target Center. Before I Die, we want championships, we want good times, we want wins, and that's what we want from the Vikings. So like Phil said, April 28th, Surly Brew Hall, no admission. It's the place.
Yep, heard from a lot of people that are clearing out their calendars, including Logan tweeted at the show yesterday, just booked a hotel. He's coming in from out of town, just booked a hotel for the Score North draft party at Surly Brewing Company. Now time to, and then he shows us his cans too, which is always great.
Nice.
He shows your
Shows
cans.
your cans.
So yeah, we'd love to meet as many people as possible, and we'll, like Judd said, we'll have the vent lines opened up live on the scene. Attendees have a chance to win a 65-inch TCL Smart TV, and also if you we're looking to help the food group as well to help provide nutritious and quality foods to those who need it most across Minnesota. And so bring canned food items. We'll also be giving out raffle tickets and prizes as well. So it's going to be a freaking awesome night. And
Write this down.
hopefully the Vikings don't just trade out and not draft anybody, but whatever. It'll be fun either way. So, all right, back to Declan here, your second prediction.
All right, on that exact vein, and I have no intel on this. I just want to write this down. The Before I Die beer will return to the Surly Brew Hall or in liquor stores at some point during the 2022 NFL football season. So the Before I Die beer is obviously going to be there for us on draft night. I am saying it will be brought back into the brew hall or into liquor stores.
Wow.
By the at some point in the 2022 NFL football season.
Okay. That'd be awesome. Haven't
Write
even
that
tried
down.
it yet, but I think that sounds like, excuse me, I need some Before I Die pale ale to clear my throat.
That's
You're
right.
you're getting choked up.
I'm
Like,
getting
just the
getting
thought-
emotional, yeah.
Just the thought of it being that big a hit.
Write this down.
That's my beer,
Oh,
man.
man. All right, write this down. I think so. The Vikings have been just chasing the Packers' 13-win seasons the last few years, right? I'm not ready to make like an official win-loss prediction for each team, but write this down. The Vikings will finish within 2 games of the Green Bay Packers. Or what I want to say is like they'll either finish above the Packers or they'll finish
Right.
no worse than 2 games below the Packers in the Central.
Above or below the Packers in the NFC.
Well, they'll finish. Just say they'll finish no worse than 2 games below the Packers in the NFC North. That way, if the Packers win 2 games and the Vikings win all of their games, which won't happen, but I still get credit. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, I feel like your
Write this
wording there
down.
is a little weird, but I understand what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I'm looking.
I just don't want you to get burned.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
Why do you care if he gets burned?
Well, I've helped Declan a couple times.
Yeah.
Not all of us are just
You know-
savage sociopaths on this show
Yeah.
like you are.
You know, this whole I help thing don't work for write that down, okay? Like if Declan blows a tire, you pull over side of the road, help him out. I don't care. But I'm
We're
writing
working
that down.
together to try and sabotage you.
Yeah, this is all about
Yeah.
individual victory here.
All right, back to Nate with your third and final prediction. Oh, Nate, I think your mic's
Nate.
off.
I think
Or
you're
you're unmuted
mic
or
up,
something.
yeah.
I got it. Don't
I
worry.
do the
I'm
same thing
professional.
6 times the show. It's
We got
completely fine.
podcast professional here.
Yeah.
Pantomiming his prediction.
Yeah, dude.
Charlie Chaplin it.
So Minnesota, yeah, right. Minnesota Vikings defense will lead sacks in the NFL for the first half of the season and will end up being top 3 by the end.
Okay, so because the season is an odd number of games, so through 9 games.
Through 9 games. Yep, we'll go to the top half.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, they were, I think, through the first, until Daniil Hunter got hurt last year, they were number 1 in pressures and maybe like number 1 or number 2 in sacks, right?
Off the record, I think we're probably going to be a top 8 defense. I listen. I'm drinking it all day long. I understand that, but man, I don't know. anyway, culture, right? That's just drink it. Nom, 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 before I die.
Chill boys. Federated.
Federated Union. God.
So
Let's
Nate, you've got this, this life-changing platform here right now.
Yeah.
You've got the entire world of Vikings fans watching you and hanging by every word. Is there anyone in your life you'd like to thank that brought you to this point?
Obviously, I have to thank my wife. That is just a staple of Write That Down. She deals with everything about my tears, my anger, all of those really great things. And then I also have to thank my uncle. He brought me into this fold. He taught me how to hate my life, like every true Minnesota Vikings fan can be. And then I also really have to thank my buddy Gabe Johnson. He and I became friends in Chicago. Weirdly enough, he's from Minnesota. He's a local boy. He's amazing. We're throwing stuff back and forth all day long, all season long. We're basically like mini Purple Daily, just between him and I though. So
Love it, dude. Awesome. Well, dude, great job. Great setup. We'll get you on again sometime for sure. And good luck on your predictions, man.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's guest listener predictor Nate, just bringing the energy, bringing the great predictions.
That's a hell of a setup he's got.
Love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Judd, your third and final here.
All right, I am going to stay within the NFC North and make a very simple prediction, but I think the division, for the most part, is going to be pretty putrid. I think there's going to be some really bad teams, including the Bears, who will win 4 or fewer games in 2022. So the Chicago Bears will win 4 or fewer games in 2022. I don't think the Bears have any real vested interest in wins or being good.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to pay off for what they want to do with Ryan Poles and company.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, the Bears have been stuck in like a lower level of mediocrity. But they're always kind of fighting, and they somehow manage to get like 6 or 8 wins, and once in a while pop up too. So they're hitting that reset button, and we'll see if they can come out of it. All right,
Write this down.
Declan, your third and final prediction.
All right, write this down. The Vikings will draft at least one special teams player, kicker, punter, or long snapper.
Oh my God.
They will
that's
draft
very important. Okay.
at
So
least
Rick Spielman
one.
really is the shadow general manager still.
Yeah.
So one of those 3 though. So like not
Correct,
this
yeah.
guy can return kicks too. So okay. Perfect.
Yes. No, I don't. Yeah. Kicker, punter, or long snapper.
Okay.
Wow.
Write that down.
All right, write it down.
Write this down.
All right, I'm gonna. So remember the days where Kyle Hamilton, the Notre Dame safety, was being mocked number 2 to the Lions, and sometimes to other teams in the top 5.
Which I
Write this down. Kyle Hamilton. I think teams are going to come to their senses. He's a great player. I'm a Notre Dame guy. My grandpa played at Notre Dame, but you can't justify taking a safety that high. Mm-hmm. So Kyle Hamilton, write this down, will not be a top 10 pick. He will fall out of the top 10.
Interesting.
Okay.
Write it down. And there you have it. There's your write that down predictions for the week here. Let's put our reputations on. We're the only show in America that actually puts statistics next to our predictions, so you guys can just clown and dunk on
I
us.
wish we didn't right now. My 18.2 or 18.4% completion percentage. I wish we didn't put them right. But
All right, we've got a very exciting mock a day here, but speaking of statistics, what are the statistics on your weight loss here, and how can people lose weight like Judd Zolgad is?
The Judd Zolgad weight loss is down approximately 40 pounds thanks to my very good friends and my coaches at Livia Weight Control Centers who have helped me shed the weight. Now, most importantly, I've lost the weight, which was a great plan, a simple plan. But the most important thing is I'm keeping the weight off. And that's the hard thing. We've all lost weight, right? And then we go back to saying, I can eat normal. I can eat what I want. I can eat it. I gained it back and more. Well, with this plan, you don't, in part because the dietitians and what I call coaches are so effective. Get 25% off the program now, plus 35 meals for free. Livia.com, 855-GO-LIVEA, LIVEA.com inside the state. They've got locations here in the city, which you can go to. I believe there's 6. But if you're outside the state, you can just Zoom in, video conference in, and talk to a dietitian and get a plan and get the food and start to lose the weight. And then the best part is, ladies and gentlemen, keep the weight off. Livia.com, LIVEA.
Boom. All right, boys.
I want
Here we go.
mock.
Here we go. It's a mock-a-day on Purple Daily, presented by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. Been around for over 100 years, helping businesses maximize their success, minimize their risk. Find out more at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. It's always great waking up in the morning to a Timberwolves play-in victory and a Godfather mock 4.0 from Mel Kiper Jr. Look at that. Judd's got the Wolves. He's at the arena last night. What a joyous celebratory week in Minnesota sports.
You
Just
guys
a freaking
enjoyed it.
blast.
You guys enjoyed it too much.
No,
Act
okay,
like
TNT guys,
Act like you've been
go
here
bleep
before.
yourselves.
Yeah,
No.
seriously.
They haven't been
Everybody.
here before.
Everybody.
They're the little giants. Like, they scored their first touchdown against... we scored a touchdown! Like, yes, let's celebrate it. So, all right, Mel Kiper has spoken for the fourth time here. 2 weeks until the NFL draft, and he's got a 2-rounder. I have not looked at this yet. We're gonna go through this together. Pick number 1, he's got Aiden Hutchinson going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He has Sauce Gardner going to the Lions at number 2. I think that's the first time I've seen this. Have you
Okay.
guys seen this before?
I have never seen that before,
I don't
but
think
I will.
so.
But I will say this: I think, well, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that is a more realistic projection than Kyle Hamilton, a safety, going to Detroit too.
Yeah. So, interesting. So, Sauce Gardner, number 2. Texans taking Trayvon Walker, the defensive lineman from Georgia.
Yep.
Kayvon Thibodeau to the Jets at 4. Iquanu, the tackle from North Carolina State, to the Giants at 5. Malik Willis, first quarterback off the board at 6. So, it's not going to count, but Mel Kiper finally came to his senses here.
Yep. That's Carolina, right?
Carolina
Okay.
taking Malik Willis,
Thank
yep. Giants taking Jermaine Johnson, edge rusher, Florida State. Falcons taking Garrett Wilson, wide receiver, Ohio State. Seahawks at 9 taking Evan Neal, the tackle from Alabama. Drake London, another receiver, USC, to the Jets at 10. And then Kyle Hamilton. Look at this. So Kiper and I.
Oh, you
Kyle Hamilton falling to 11 to the
Phil.
Commanders. And that brings us to the Minnesota Vikings with the 12th overall pick. Derek Stingley Jr.
Me and Kiper. It's actually me and Kiper now. It was Phil with the first
You
11
guys
picks.
now?
Now it's me and Kiper again. We're back.
So for our mock a day, we've been tracking these for a couple weeks now. We're just every mock that we bring to the show, we're keeping track of how many times each player gets selected by the Vikings. And right now, it's a runaway that Derek Stingley Jr. has been selected 5 times in these mocks. Trent McDuffie 3 times, Jermaine Johnson twice, Jordan Davis once. A couple of trades in here. Kiper writes, "This is a great fit for both sides. The Vikings could get a corner with an elite All-Pro ceiling and plug a hole, while Stingley could join a team with a few other former LSU stars. The worry on Stingley is that his best tape is from 3 years ago, when he started as a true freshman. Can he return to form in the NFL? Stay healthy. That's a risk teams will have to consider. Still, I feel better making this bet at 12 than if I were picking in the top 5. So,
Where does Kenny Pickett go in this Godfather mock?
let's keep scrolling.
Because he's going 6 to Carolina in the last 2 or 3. I think at least the last 2 that you've done.
Yeah, I'm to 20th right now.
Wow.
So, Kenny Pickett to the Steelers at 20th.
Okay. All right.
So that's the second quarterback off the board. And then, man, he has no other quarterbacks. He's got Tyler Linderbaum going to the Jets at 31, the center. He has no other quarterbacks in the first round. And then we get into the second round. I'll spare you here, but I'm pick 39, no other quarterbacks. So there's Desmond Ridder is the third quarterback off the board for Kiper at 40 to the Seahawks.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Boye Mafe, U of M kid, going to the Falcons at 43. And that brings us to 46, where Godfather Mock has Perrion Winfrey, defensive tackle from Oklahoma, going to the Vikings.
Defense.
He's got defense. Winfrey is more of a classic 3-technique penetrating tackle.
Hell yeah.
And he was one of the biggest risers after his performance at the Senior Bowl. Linemen couldn't block him. He didn't always get the chance to create havoc at Oklahoma, but he could be great next to nose tackle Dalvin Tomlinson for Minnesota.
Okay.
I think we're reading this wrong. I think the mockers are starting to read this wrong. I think that they're looking at the Vikings' needs on defense and just assuming that they're going to go defense, but I think it's biased towards the previous regime as well. I'm just saying, I think we need to keep our minds open for the fact that this is an offensive coach, and that if this team is going to win, like this team thinks that they can win. If they're going to win, they're going to win largely, I think, on points scored.
Yeah. Also, so I guess are we talking about, like, let's say they draft this kid from Oklahoma in the second round? Would their defensive front then be him, Harrison Phillips, and Dalvin Tomlinson, and then either Zadarius Smith and or even if they're going more 4-3 concept with like their nickel defense, then there's one of those big dudes come off the field, and then Zadarius and Daniil are both hand in the dirt guys. Like, this is what we don't know. Right. We don't know what they want to do with Zadarius and Daniil Hunter. Are they going to be more linebacker types? Are they going to be hand in the dirt types? So we'll find out.
Just play the sounder and end the show. Just play the sounder.
Football.
Unbelievable.
Here we go. All right. That's it. That's a wrap on today's episode of Purple Daily. Check us out every single day on the Purple Daily YouTube channel, Apple, Spotify. And if you could please click the subscribe button on the Purple Daily YouTube channel and the like button. Help spread the word about this Vikings community where we all just want the Vikings to win a Super Bowl before we die. See you guys.